you guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. If you have ever felt nervous or worried about having to teach your kids to read, this video is for you. This is a common worry among homeschool moms of young kids, but you absolutely can do it. I'd like to thank Reading Eggs for sponsoring this video. You may think that you know what Reading Eggs is and can do, but they have just come out with a brand new all-in-one homeschool platform that is a game changer, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So if I'm being honest, I was very nervous about teaching my youngest son to read. I started homeschooling when my oldest was going into kindergarten, and he and his sisters had gone to a really good preschool / daycare up to that point. And they did a great job with teaching all of what I would consider the preschool skills. So they had a nice little head start by the time that I stepped in with a kindergarten curriculum. But with my youngest, it was all on me, and that felt kind of overwhelming. I'm a former high school teacher, so I felt way out of my element. So I started looking for some simple things to use that would teach him the basics and at least get him started learning how to read. And I thought an app would be a great idea because with 3 older kids, it would be something that my youngest son could use for 20 minutes a day or so, possibly on his own while I was working with my older kids. And I tried a handful of options. Reading Eggs was one of them, and in fact, it was the only app I tried that actually held my son's attention past a couple of days. He actually looked forward to using it each day, and I was really impressed by how much he was learning and everything that he was doing on the app. My son was all about earning the rewards, earning golden eggs, dressing up his avatar, unlocking new levels. But what really stood out to me was how motivated he became to improve and do his best. Reading Eggs uses a gamified approach with cute characters and interactive lessons, and kids earn bronze, silver, or gold awards based on their quiz scores at the end of each map. After completing a map, they can print a certificate to celebrate, and my son was so proud to earn his first one. And without any prompting from me, he started going back to redo his quizzes, determined to move from bronze to gold. And it was all self-motivated, and I love that the program encouraged mastery, not just clicking through. So we used Reading Eggs as a supplement for a while, and while we've since moved on to a different curriculum as my son's gotten older, I'm really grateful for the strong foundation that Reading Eggs laid, and I have recommended it to many people. And now Reading Eggs has released something completely new that brings it to a whole new level. Reading Eggs Homeschool Max, which takes everything I love about the program and adds so much more structure and support so families can be confident in using this as their actual homeschool curriculum. If you're new to Reading Eggs, here's a little background. It was created by a team of experienced educators, and over the past decade, the program has helped thousands of families teach their children to read at home. Designed for ages 2 to 13, Reading Eggs teaches the 5 essential pillars of reading success: phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. The program is based on solid reading research and has been shown to boost reading levels in as little as 15 minutes a day. It's also kid-safe certified, completely ad-free, and has no in-app purchases, which I know is a big deal for many families. It was for us. So then, what exactly is this new Homeschool Max? Homeschool Max is an enhanced version of Reading Eggs designed specifically for homeschoolers. You still get everything from the original Reading Eggs program, like Reading Eggs Junior, Fast Phonics, Reading Express, and Math Seeds, but now it includes an upgraded parent dashboard that turns it into a complete, trackable homeschool language arts curriculum. Everything is brought together in a way that really supports both kids and parents. You get more structure and helpful tools, but also the flexibility we all need as homeschoolers. I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes look in a second, but one of my favorite upgrades with Homeschool Max is the ability to assign specific lessons to track your child's progress. Sometimes my son would want to just play around on Reading Eggs, visit the little shop and dress up his avatar, things like that. And a little bit more structure would have helped him. Well, now parents can assign lessons and control what kids can do before they can do anything else in the program. That's a really nice feature. It means that kids can work a little bit more independently, and you can log in and see what they've completed, how they scored, and which areas might need more practice. This is so helpful for busy moms or anyone homeschooling multiple kids across different levels. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to give you a look at the Homeschool Max parent dashboard so you can get an idea of all that it includes and whether or not this would be something that would work for your kids. And I'm also going to share a couple of things I learned as I was exploring this that might be helpful to you if you are going to start using Reading Eggs in your homeschool. Okay, right now I am signed into my Reading Eggs account, and this is a look at the family dashboard. I'm on my desktop, but we also use my phone or iPad. You can go back and forth smoothly between devices. So here's what's included with a Homeschool Max subscription. It's all the same things as you would get with Reading Eggs. You have Reading Eggs Junior, which is for ages 2 to 4. This is going to give early exposure to letters and sounds. You have Reading Eggs for ages 3 to 7. This is their core Learn to Read program. You have Fast Phonics, which is for ages 5 to 10. This is focused phonics skill building. Reading Express for ages 7 to 13. This focuses on reading comprehension, grammar, and vocabulary for older students. And then finally, you have a math component. You have Math Seeds for ages 3 to 9. This is a full early math curriculum. Notice the overlap in ages between Reading Eggs and Fast Phonics. I want to give you guys some advice here because we used the app for a while with the Reading Eggs program before I really thought about this or realized this. So we started right away with Reading Eggs because that's the name of the program, and that's what I thought was their main Learn to Read program, which it is. But Fast Phonics is also a Learn to Read program, and these are two separate programs with two different approaches. So you really want to decide which you prefer and want to start your student with. Reading Eggs uses a structured whole language method that combines analytic phonics, sight words, rhyming, and vocabulary development. It introduces letters one at a time, and they use fun activities to build reading skills step by step. So this is perfect for children who benefit from visual cues like pictures and word families. So like cat, bat, mat, things like that. Fast Phonics, on the other hand, is more direct and intensive phonics program that follows a synthetic phonics approach. It's going to focus on systematically teaching children how to decode and blend sounds to help them read unfamiliar words confidently. Because the programs teach phonics differently and introduce sounds in a different order, it's best to use one at a time so you won't have your kids do both of these at once. If your child does well with patterns, pictures, and story-based learning, I'd recommend starting with Reading Eggs. And if they're ready for more focused phonics instruction and blending sounds, Fast Phonics might be a better fit. Now, if you are using the app, you may not know some of the things are here on the family dashboard, so I want to show you a couple of them real quick before I jump into Homeschool Max. If you go here to this bonus material, there's a lot of really cool things. You have certificates, you have activity sheets. Let me open that up and show you what those are. So these are free activity sheets that you can download for any of these programs up here. You have coloring pages or you have homeschool worksheets. So let's say, just as an example, I click into lesson 1. So it gives you a lot of instructions, and then you have all of these printable worksheets here that you can use with your child as they go through that first map. So you've got a lot of great resources here for each of these programs, and you have, so like in Fast Phonics, you've got some handwriting practice, which is great. All right, you have a Spanish option. You have some reward maps for Reading Eggs. So these are kind of nice. If you're using the Reading Eggs program, let me show you what this looks like. So you have a map here that you can print out, and if you wanted to use stickers or have something visual hanging in your homeschool room, you can use this to help motivate your student. Also up here you have parent user guides. These are so helpful to see how to use each one of these programs and the different features that they have. So if you click into here and read through these pages, it's going to show you exactly what every program is going to include, all of the resources that you have. So I think that this is a really helpful feature, especially when you're just getting started. You have lesson overviews. So for Reading Eggs, Fast Phonics, and these other ones, you can download and see exactly what the different lessons are going to be covering, which again, super helpful if you want to know this information. Placement test overviews. This is another thing I love about Reading Eggs. They have placement tests so you can place your child exactly where they need to be in the program if you want to. So if you, let's say, look at the Fast Phonics one, this will tell you, okay, the different peaks, they're called, what should the students know and what are they going to be studying in that peak. So, you know, you can have them take the placement test, or you can look at some of these if you want to get a good idea of where to place your child. And then you've got webinars and an online summer camp. Over here where it says new, this is where you're going to find your new Homeschool Max dashboard. And again, before I click into this, I want to show you guys this other really helpful tool if you are just getting started, and that's their homeschool guides. So I'm going to open that up. If you're not sure where to begin, or you want more structure in your homeschool, Reading Eggs has put together these week by week program guides for kindergarten through 5th grade that are going to lay everything out for you. So what to teach and when, across core subjects like language arts, math, science, and social studies. So this is where I would start. Let's say I go into year 1, if my son is going into 1st grade. Here is their homeschool guide for grade 1. And what I would do is I would print this off and I would use this to help me plan out my weeks. So you'll see you've got the weeks across the top, and then for every week it tells you, okay, if you're using Reading Eggs, this is what you're going to focus on. Gives you some books that are in the program. You've got spelling lessons, that's all included in the Reading Eggs program. You have the Fast Phonics, their lessons are called peaks, so they tell you when to focus on which peak. Then you also get suggestions for math seeds, so where should you be working within that program? And again, this is at that 1st grade level, and these are just suggestions. You can customize them if you want to, but this is, if you have, a typical 1st grader, this would be a great place to start. And then you have science and social studies options and some book recommendations to read for those topics. Now also on this page right here, if I scroll down, you have science books and social studies books. So you can find these books that are listed. If I click into this, it'll give a list of all of their books that are in the Reading Express library, the Reading Eggs, Reading Age, the reading level, and the Lexile number. So I'll show you how to find these in just a second, but these lists are helpful to have because, again, they show the Lexile for each book, and that's going to really help you select books that are at the right level for your child if you're wanting to customize things. If you're not familiar with what a Lexile score is, it's a standardized way to assess a student's reading ability and match them with books at the right level. It's a numeric score, so you'll see like 500L, 850L, 1200L, and those numbers reflect two things. Number one, a student's reading level based on how well they comprehend text, and number two, a book's difficulty based on the complexity of its vocabulary and sentence structure. So the L in the score stands for Lexile. So if your child has a Lexile measure of 600L, that means they're generally expected to understand books in the 500L to 700L range with good comprehension. And this is helpful to know because in the Reading Eggs Homeschool Max program, you'll see Lexile scores in two places. Your child's reading reports, which will tell you their current Lexile level, and book descriptions in the Reading Eggs library. These show the Lexile score of each book. So as your child goes through the program, you'll see data about their Lexile score, and you'll be able to use this information to do a couple of different things. First, you can choose and assign books within 100L above or below your child's score for optimal comprehension and challenge. Or you could also choose books that are slightly below their level to boost confidence or easy independent reading. Or finally, you might choose books that are slightly above their level for guided or shared reading practice. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look now at the Homeschool Max dashboard. So when you log in as a parent, this is what you're gonna see. Now, I'm gonna start by saying there is so much in here. I can't cover everything in this video, but what I want to do is show you some of the features that I think are the most helpful and that really make Homeschool Max a robust tool for parents. With Homeschool Max, you can add up to 4 children per subscription. Each of them will get their own profile, and the program will save all their progress across any of the learning areas they're working on. So I'm gonna go through everything kind of on the left sidebar right here. These things that are in the middle are kind of quick access for everything that's on the left side. And then these buttons at the top are actually places where your child can start the program right from this dashboard. So that's really helpful. And a good thing to know is that whether they are using the program from here or they're using it on an app on your phone or iPad or something like that, everything will track and update in your dashboard. So over here, you'll see you have this little section at the top. These are going to be resources that are not lesson specific, and there are things that you can also use offline to help your kids in lots of different ways. And then we'll get into specific things for Reading Eggs, Reading Express, and Fast Phonics. You see that we've got lessons, assignments, and reports for all 3 of those. The summer reading catch-up, I noticed, this is just something that looks so fun. This is something that you can use to just help your kids get ready for the next grade level. You could use it over the summer. You could maybe use it during the school year too. But for example, if I click into grade 1, let me look at week 1 just to show you what's included in here. So you just have a lot of different resources for that week, little tracking chart, week 1, day 1. So just kind of gives you some resources that you could use with your kids over the summer or again, in between grades. All right, you have a Teacher Toolkit up here. So you've got resources for all of these different age groups. If I click into the K through 2 teaching resources, you'll see we've got categories of phonics and spelling, comprehension, grammar, targeting English, and lots of different posters. So you'll find all of these in each of these different grade levels. And there is really just so much here. In these student worksheets, you have so many things that you can print off and use for your kids. So there are spelling games, different things to practice spelling, making words. So just again, if you don't want to be on the app or on the computer all the time, you have options to help supplement what they're doing on the app, especially if you're trying to work on handwriting or other things like that. So not only are they going to be learning how to read, they're going to have tools to help them with handwriting and spelling as well. Let's see, you've got other spelling activities, you have alphabet activities. So these are going to be, some of these are online, but they're just going to be resources that help you.
Find the letter. There are 6 to find.
So they're resources that are just going to help you focus on learning different letters. All right, so that opens right up into an activity from Reading Eggs if you had a specific letter you wanted to work on with your child. So that is going to be up here in your Teacher Toolkit. You also have PowerPoint lessons. I'm not sure if you'd be using this as a homeschool parent or not, but if you like using PowerPoint, more power to you. You've got a bunch of PowerPoint lessons here. Targeting English, this is a program for actually Australian primary schools that explores many different ways that we use English. And this provides comprehensive coverage of the primary English curriculum. So from what I learned when I was looking this up, this is in Australian, it's used in Australian primary school. So may or may not be something that you want to use. But then you also have lots of posters down here. So if I click onto here, tons of things that you can print off and use in your homeschool. So many resources in this Teacher Toolkit. The big books, these are going to be interactive books that are organized by reading levels. So you've got what they call big books, and then you have book notes for each one. The book notes are going to offer basically just printable guides for the books that are in the Reading Eggs library, and you'll also have worksheets that, again, suitable for offline learning. Finally, in the Teacher Toolkit, you have curriculum maps. So if you are needing to follow state standards and you want to see how the program correlates to those, we're in Missouri, so I can click on that one for my state, and you have a lot of information here if you need it. Okay, the printables library, this is going to just give you lots of printables to go along with the lessons your students are doing on reading eggs. And again, you can use these for offline work if you want to. There's lots of different filters up here, so you can filter by grade level. If you wanted to just focus on spelling, not much there for that. But a couple different filter options, so you can look through and download what you want to from there. The teacher library, this I think is great because this helps you select books that you can use with your students, and they have options for you to create different collections with your books or save them to favorites. So I can see this being used if you do a lot of unit studies in your homeschool, so you could search for books that match a particular topic that you're learning about. You could create a collection for that, all in this teacher library. And if I click on a book, this will allow me to do a couple of different things. So I could read the book right here. So if I click on this, it'll open up this book and I could read it right now on my computer. You could also assign it as a read-aloud fluency, and I'll show you a little bit about that in a few minutes. And I can assign it as a library book, and it gives you all the information about the book right here as well. There are so many filters in here. You can filter by Lexile, reading level, reading age. You could also filter by what type of book you want to see. High-low, I wasn't sure what this is, so I had to look it up, but these are going to be books that are high interest but low reading ability, so books that are still engaging and fun for kids that maybe have a lower reading ability. And there is just a lot that you can do here. Okay, so then we get into our Reading Eggs, Reading Express, and Fast Phonics. And again, you've got 3 different options for each of these. So if I look at Reading Eggs, I have my lessons right here. And when I click into it, you can see that I have lessons for reading, something they have called Storylands, and then their Skills Bank. Those are just different aspects of the program. This is great because it allows you to preview all of the lessons. So if I click on preview,
Hi, I am Sam.
Click on
it'll pull up the lesson, and you can actually see what your kids are going to be doing in this lesson. Also, whatever lesson you are on, they have resources. So you can access student PDFs, teacher PDFs for every single lesson, again, to offer some offline experience or handwriting or extra practice for your student. And for the other 2, it's going to be the same thing. So for Reading Express, you've got reading and spelling options. They focus a lot more on spelling in Reading Express with older students. You can preview lessons, view resources, and same with Fast Phonics. They have up here support resources for each of the peaks. Teaching slide decks, these are going to be your, I think they're your PowerPoints, and then also training videos, which could be really helpful if teaching phonics is not easy for you. They've got those training videos there. All right, and then let's take a look at assignments. So if you like having a plan, or you need to have more control over what your child is working on in Reading Eggs, you can now assign lessons right from here. So this is going to bring a lot of structure to this program. No more just wandering through the activities. Creating an assignment will actually prevent your child from doing anything else in the program until they have their assignment completed. So let me just show you real quick. Let's say I wanted to assign a lesson to Oliver. You can choose your start and end dates and then select your type of activity. Let's say we wanted to do a reading lesson for 1st grade, and I'm just gonna select this first lesson and create this assignment. Okay, so now let's say I go back home and I want to log in as Oliver, like I'm going to do the program. I'm gonna open up the app. So right away, I can't do anything else until I get this assignment completed. So this kind of alleviates the problem of, my kid only wants to go in and play the games or things like that. So he now has an assignment that he has to start before he can complete anything else. I want to show you one of the newest tools, and that's the Read Aloud Fluency feature. My son thought this was so cool. I had him try it out. He is only reading very simple books at the moment, so I picked out something that he could read and we gave it a try. He loved recording himself and hearing himself read the book back. I think this is an amazing way to build confidence with oral reading, and let's say your child doesn't love reading aloud to you, this gives them a judgment-free way to practice. You can find this in Reading Express. So let me show you real quick how to assign it. So when I'm in here, I'll select my student and I will choose the Read Aloud Fluency. You can view the library, or let's say I wanted to find a book on ants, Matt the ant. I could preview the book if I want to, but let's just go ahead and create that assignment. And that assignment is going to be created. Now, I told you before that I had my son try this out just to see what it was like. So right here I'm in Manage Assignments, and if I go to Past Assignments, this is the one that he completed and he read aloud. So what I can do is if I click into this, and this button shows up that says Review. This is gonna pull up the recording of your child reading that book. If I want to open up the book, I can, or I can click this play button to hear them read aloud.
The cat has a bath. The dog has a bath.
All right, so it records them for like 30 seconds or a minute. I forget exactly how long, but I think it's such a neat feature. You can give them a rating if you wanted to. So let's say I selected 4. Once you do that, you can enter words per minute and give any comments if you want to give them any comments. Or for you to remember. So this is just a little look at the Read Aloud Fluency feature. Okay, finally, the last thing you're going to have in each of these sections are reports, and look at all this stuff here. This section makes it easier to actually know how your child is doing. You're going to get a detailed report of your child's progress in any of these 3 programs. You can see how many lessons they've completed, how well they scored, and which skills that they've mastered or might need to revisit. So a couple different options up here at the top. You have summary, time on task, standards performance. So again, if you need to look at standards for your state or things like that, that's going to give you some information on that. You have Lexile levels and growth, spelling, all sorts of things that you can look at in this report section. This is all really helpful if your child is working independently and you aren't always watching to see what they might need more help on. It also makes it super easy to track learning over time or show progress to an evaluator if you need to do that in your homeschool. And I don't want to leave this out. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but if I click over into this math tab, you'll see everything for the Math Seeds program. It looks pretty similar to the reading section. Math Seeds, if you're not familiar with it, is a kindergarten through 3rd grade program that's designed to give kids a strong foundation in essential numeracy skills. It's really similar to Reading Eggs in that kids follow a personalized learning path and work through interactive lessons and activities. So here you also have a lot of teacher resources, printables, and the ability to create assignments in case you plan on using Reading Eggs for your math curriculum as well, in addition to your reading curriculum. And if you're using the calendars that are provided to you, remember, you'll notice they have those math recommendations in here as well, so it makes things really easy for you to organize your lessons. Before Homeschool Max, I thought Reading Eggs was a great supplement, but now I can definitely see it and recommend it more as a full curriculum solution for early reading, language arts, and math. Everything is all laid out for you with so many tools to help you create a plan and customize lessons based on your child's needs. You don't have to worry that you're just putting your child on an app and hoping that they learn something. You have structure and reports and so many printable worksheets at your fingertips. You can feel confident using this in your homeschool. So if you're a homeschool mom teaching one or more kids between ages 2 and 13, this could be a fantastic fit. I think it's especially helpful for those early elementary years. I often hear moms ask, what do I do with my younger kids while I'm homeschooling my older ones? I think intentional screen time with programs like Reading Eggs can be a huge help because kids think it's fun and they're learning really great skills while they use it. If you'd like to give Reading Eggs Homeschool Max a try with your kids, you can try it free for 30 days. I'll drop the link in the description below. Make sure you sign up through the web, not the App Store, so you can unlock all of the Homeschool Max features. Let me know in the comments if you have questions about how Reading Eggs Homeschool Max works. I think it's such a powerful new tool that's going to be helpful to so many families. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.